What's up, Lowrider family? Welcome back to another episode with Lolos and more. And today we're going to talk about stress points on the lowriders. Excuse the mess, I haven't organized my garage back at home yet. I began taking apart my wiring and all that other stuff. I'm going to replace some blocks and do all that good stuff. So, for stress points, I get this question a lot. I haven't gotten a project or a customer project yet that where they want stress points reinforced, but I know I have a car coming up soon. But I get a lot of questions about it anyway, so I figured make a video about it real quick and let you guys know what are the stress points, so you guys can do them. Because I think I'll get the car to do the stress points probably in about another month, I believe. So let's get to it. So once I show you guys here on the car physically, I'll show you on paper what to look for. Okay, so for your rear, your stress points is the back part of your arch. The arches in the back need to be reinforced. That is a stress point. I recommend if you can go further than that right there, go ahead, go further. Same with the front. If you can go slightly forward a little bit more, do that. Mine are reinforced, as you guys can see. My beginner's welds. Don't worry about these welds. I am going to wrap a frame. I kind of stopped reinforcing this one, just because I'd rather just do a wrap frame. I actually have a truck that I bought for $175, a full truck without a transmission, of course. It's sitting on the street right now that I just need to take apart and throw the frame in here. It'll fit right here. I'll strap it to my wall. But and my rear end is bad. It's well, the seal is bad anyways. But anyways, let's get back to the stress points. Stress points, your rear arches, both. So do the sides. If you can also do it, do the bottom right here. Do this bottom. Do that bottom right there. Alright. And then on your axles, I recommend if you can do as much C channel or U channel, whatever, on top of your axle as much as you can, do that. That kind of helps with reinforcing. So that helps. Yes, that I do have my shock still on my truck. You know, I don't like it to be super bouncy in the back. So I still got those back there. Alright, so now we get closer to the front. Your next, let's see. So your next stress point is right here. My blue frame right there. That is another stress point right there. Right here. So you want to go as far as you can and as back as you can towards the back of the front wheel well. You know, go back as you can. You know, like mine right here, that right here is a body mount, so that's as far as I would be able to take mine anyways. So that's a stress point. So what some people usually do, they'll make it out of two plates, because you know, right here in the middle on the frame there's that curb, the pocket spring right there that pokes out. People would do two plates up here in the front. You can get away with one, but it'll be kind of a bit of a pain to get the bend, so you can do it with two plates. All right, but if you're able to do it with one whole plate up front on your front purchase, do it. Or arches, my bad, not purchase. Arches. All right, and then Your next stress point would be your front. Get down here. Your front cross member. Okay? So, as you guys can kind of tell, I don't got much on my front cross member. Right here, there's not too much, so I can't really reinforce it. So what I'm left on my truck is that I can only reinforce the bottom part of the cross member right here. I can only reinforce that part because my steering rack bolts up right here. You know. Looks like I got some oil drip in there too. Oh well. Good thing the truck is in here. I gotta fix some things anyways. And then I know on some cars, just like mine, you don't have much to reinforce up front because you can't. But I do recommend reinforce this mount right here. The lower control arm for the front. Reinforce in this area for sure. So you can put a plate starting here, going up past the bolt, and up in this area right here. So as long as you reinforce this area, because this area is pretty weak on the lowriders. Alright. Another stress point is your lower control arm. Those pockets eventually will eat out just like the back purchase, if the spring purchase. If you keep it stock, eventually they'll eat away. Just like, you guys remember the video of the black Monte Carlo when I first got it, where the spring broke through? Well, the same thing can happen up here. So reinforce it. You don't necessarily need to extend the pocket. If you want to, you can go ahead and extend the pocket right here to fit a full stack if you want. But if you don't care about a full stack, then you can weld a donut if you want. You can weld a donut on the bottom or on the side where the spring is actually sitting on. You can weld it there and then weld a plate underneath the control arm right here. Weld it right there. And this reinforces the bottom A-arm right here. Okay. Alright. Alright. Sorry about that. We kind of cut off because a friend came over. But going back to what we were saying about the lower control arms, just reinforce the pocket. If you don't want to extend out the pocket for deeper springs, but longer, like a full stack springs. And then just cover the bottom with one big plate of this A-arm right here, of the lower A-arm. Alright. And another stress point would be, which I can't really see that well under here, would be, hey, I don't know if you guys can really tell, but right here, okay, so this is what I'm pointing at right now. That's the cross member under the motor. Right here is a frame. If you're able to put a piece of metal onto the frame to the cross member, if you're able to, it'll be in two plates to reinforce it. So you want to reinforce the corner. If you have enough room to reinforce the back of the cross member to the frame, do that too. If you have the room. Unfortunately, mine, there's no room for the back, but I got a little bit of room in the front to do it. So we got that. I think we covered the cross member pretty well, I think. And then let's see. That's pretty much it. So and some of you kind of ask about reinforcing for lowrider for hoppers. For hoppers, that's a whole different story. Pretty much, when you're working with a hopper, I recommend you wrap the whole frame, so like a frame off project. Um, you'll want to get rid of your sway bar. I still got my sway bar in. Get rid of that, and what you'll want to do is completely wrap and reinforce your lower control arms, your A arms. Completely wrap and reinforce your uppers. Oops, right there. Want to reinforce your uppers completely. And another thing for hoppers that a lot of people don't think of is you want to reinforce the knuckles, the spindles, or whatever you want to call it. You'll want to reinforce it in that section right there, from the main part of the spindle, the knuckle, to where it mounts up with the upper A arm right there, right there. So that's the main part that usually breaks off on hoppers. So you'll want to reinforce that piece. So what I see a lot of people do is they'll grab a piece of square tubing, they'll cut out one side of that square tubing and just weld it up to that, or get creative and just weld thick pieces of flat metal around it, and that pretty much works. But don't forget to reinforce your spindles if you're working on a hopper. So, but that's pretty much it for the main part for the front. Wrap the whole frame, reinforce the front and the spindles, and make sure you guys reinforce your axles, like completely box them in, because last thing you want is for those to bend with all the weight that are in the hoppers. Not weight necessarily that is added purposely, but weight as in the batteries. So, but yeah, some hoppers do use quite a bit of weight. So, alright. So, just in case this video you couldn't really see much, what I'm going to do right now is we're going to go back into my place. I'm going to show you on a piece of paper pretty much reviewing again of what we just talked about the stress points on lowriders. Alright, so we'll be right back once I get back inside home. Okay, so what I was going back to on the car, on my truck, this is kind of what I was going over, and then I'm going to draw a little bit more. So going back to the overlook of the frame, so the black lines, of course, are the frame. The green lines are the stress points where you want to reinforce. So of course you want to reinforce your rear arches as much as you can in the back, from going back and forth, and then install your bridge. That's a big stress point right there. What I do see a lot of people do, instead of going through the hassle of installing a bridge, what they'll do is they'll weld donuts on the top or the bottom of the factory spring purchase. They can get away with that. I mean, it's totally up to you what you guys want to do. But bridges, it's like adding a whole new cross member. It's more sturdy. It helps keep the frame pretty straight a little bit, but of course doing the rest of the reinforcement helps a lot. Then you move to your front arches. Like I said earlier, you can reinforce the front with 2 plates, because it'll be a bit of a pain to reinforce with just 1 plate. And then this is the cross member that goes underneath the engine. So you'll want to reinforce the front of the cross member and the bottom of the cross member. Like I said earlier, some cars you won't be able to reinforce the front of the cross member because, like mine, the steering rack is there, and I think on the 77s and I don't know what other years, but the Monte Carlos, there's like hardly any room there as well. So reinforce the bottom of the cross member. Alright, the very bottom, not the bottom where the engine sits, like on top of the cross member. You want to reinforce the bottom of the cross member. right? And then the axle, I recommend if you can add as much C channel on one whole side, on both sides, add as much as you can. That adds extra reinforcement right there. If you don't have the ability to box the bottom of your rear end to keep it from bending, you know, so as long as you do this part, you know, you'll be good. And your lower A-arms up front, like I was saying earlier, reinforce the little pocket there, and then put one plate over your entire bottom. So, but you can get away with just reinforcing the pocket if you're not gonna extend it or anything to try and fit a full pocket. There I go again. A full stack of a coil spring. And of course, so this square right here is the frame. This right here is the front cross member. As you guys can tell, this is the lower A-arm. That's the little section that I told you guys to reinforce if you're able to. If it's one of those cross members where you can't really reinforce because stinger rack is in the way. So yeah, you'll definitely want to just reinforce there. But if you have a lot of room, I think on G-bodies there's a lot of room right here. We'll go ahead and reinforce that. That's a stress point right there. Okay. So now going back into the corners, you do want to reinforce the corners if you're able to. You want to reinforce this corner here and reinforce this corner here. So you want to also, you know, it'll be probably 2 plates right there. So, oops, if you're able to. You want to reinforce those corners. All right. If you're able to as well, you know, you might have to move the motor or whatever, but if you don't, and if you have plenty of room, then go ahead, reinforce this corner, the rear corners as well. All right, so that's pretty much it. So one tip though, for when you are reinforcing your arches, no matter which one it is, a lot of people do this rookie mistake. So let's see if we can do it. All right. So let's see, we'll just draw a rear arch right here. It'll be the same thing for front arches as well. All right, so we'll draw a couple. Okay. So when doing the rear arches, I do recommend do it on one big plate. Okay, so when reinforcing the arches, this is what people messed up on. It was my first mistake as well on my own car. So yeah, I mean, this is where I'm self-taught. So, and then I you know, fix my problems later. So what a lot of people do is when they're reinforcing the arches, they'll put a plate just like that to here to here. So this whole section right here is just reinforced, right? The issue is when you cut the plate just like that to be straight, you're literally just reinforcing this little section here of the frame right here. That's it. That's all you're reinforcing. Because of how you cut your plate right here, just straight up and down. The proper way of doing it is there's a few different ways. You can either cut your plate at an angle. The ends can be at an angle. Doing this actually is it kind of, I don't know the words for it. I don't have a big vocabulary. But the thing is, reinforcing it this way with angle cuts, not straight cuts like this, with angle cuts, it kind of it throws the reinforcement further. For example, it's like even though you don't reinforce the rest of the frame going forward, doing stress points, it kind of throws the reinforcement further. It kind of makes the rest of the frame stronger a little bit further into the frame. Hopefully that makes sense. So make sure you guys do angle cuts like that. Okay. Another way you can do it is you can also cut your ends. You can cut them round. As long as you cut them round, you're okay. But angles are better. I mean, if you guys have time, go on Google or YouTube or whatever, look it up. You'll see some other people in different part of the car automotive industries when they reinforce their frames for whatever it is, if it's for drag racing or lowriders, you'll see that doing angle cuts or round cuts is better than just this, because you're literally just reinforcing the small section versus this right here. You're actually reinforcing more than what it really is. It's hard, I can't really explain it, but hopefully that made sense though. So angle cuts or round cuts are good. All right, and that goes for front arches and rear arches. Make sure the ends of the plates are at an angle or rounded. So that pretty much completes today's video for stress points. So hopefully this kind of helps right here of what your stress points are and how to kind of do them properly a little bit. So this was mainly just like a tip video, just showing you real quick. But I am doing a car with stress points pretty soon. So, but hopefully this clears up all those questions. All right. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I try to upload a new video once every week, either on Sundays. If I don't upload on Sundays, then it'll be a Monday for sure. And then during the weeks, what I'm going to start trying to do is do videos like this, tips, a tip video. I'm going to try to do it, but there's just so much that I can do, you know, with what I got to show you guys. So, all right, hopefully this answers questions. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Email me if you guys have any questions, or look me up on Instagram at Lolos and More, or DM me there if you want, or email me, whichever one. And yeah. All right, everybody. Peace.